Alright, welcome back everyone. So for today's video, we're going to be looking at a game from Bogyun, who, by the way, congrats on just winning the Arena season. This is not the game that contributed to him winning the Arena season. This is something he'd sent me a couple weeks back saying, hey, this is a cool, interesting game to look at. And I said, oh, well, I'll add it to the queue then. And so we're finally getting to the queue after that top 50 tournament saga. Once again, I don't know why on replays it doesn't save. I want it on the second column. Anyway, so we're on Tharsis, because this is an arena game, just one from a long time ago, a couple weeks back. And we have an interesting hand here. Final thing I'm going to say before we get into the hand. Bogyun just won the arena. He's also, like 800 elo, so anytime I say, like, I wouldn't do this, does not mean it's wrong. It probably means, if anything, I'm wrong. But what I'm going to say is, I'm going to show you how top 50 players can differ in their thoughts. And I think, if nothing else, that'll be a little bit interesting as well. So we got two corps here, Point Luna and Saturn. Nothing in the hand really screams either of them. And then we have our Preludes, which, honestly, pretty uninspiring. None of these are particularly good. Research Network is probably the best of them, but that wild tag needs to find some value or else it's kind of dubious. There is a Jove tag with Saturn, so there is a little synergy there, but it's such a mediocre, Jove tag. It is 4 prod if we have, space stuff for it, so it's okay. Looking at our hand, we have imported hydrogen as like our big power card. Predators, I think, is worth keeping with advanced ecosystems, so I think those are like 3 cards you're always going to keep. And now you kind of just have to think about the rest of the hand. And, honestly, part of it's going to be how good the other player is. The weaker the player, the more effective terraforming is, but I don't think Leon Star is particularly weak. So, the obvious thing is you could go Soletta, and you have like a mole excavation, and so get 9 heat, be able to raise the heat once a gen. Not the worst, but mole excavation's a little bit uninspiring, and if I'm gonna, I'd rather take like carbonate processing than mole excavation, so I think mole excavation's not in the consideration here. Is Soletta in the consideration here? That's tough. Obviously, it's good Gen 1, but can we play it Gen 1? The only real way we can play it Gen 1 is if we take Donation, which is not exactly a card you want to play, but it's not exactly, like, awful either. So, you could go Soletta. If we're going to do that, we're at 59 cash, then 38, so, yeah, 21 cash, basically. Could have figured that out quicker than I did. So that means that we could keep up to 7 other cards. So you would take like Hired Raiders, Advanced Ecosystems, Satellites, Imported Hydrogen, Predators, and then maybe Permafrost with the heat going on. That doesn't seem too bad. It does leave us vulnerable to heat trappers. I do like the Satellites because with Point Luna already having a space tag, Research Network has a wild tag, that's 2, Soletta's 3, Satellites is 4 prod, that's not bad. So, in that line, I kind of like Point Luna, Donation, Research Network, Soletta, and then if we have the money, play Satellites. I'm not going to bore you all with the calculation again to figure out if we can play Satellites, but I think we could. The other possibility is, like I said, Saturn. But I think if you're not playing Soletta Gen 1, then you don't want to go Soletta. So Saturn, I think you would take IO and Research, and you'd hope to find some Joves. You take, like, Hydrogen, Ecosystems, Raiders, Predators, Satellites? Saturn doesn't come with a space tag, which is a little bit unfortunate, but probably still worth taking Satellites with Research Network and the thought of playing Joves potentially with our 2 Titanium prod here. So I think both of those are reasonable options here. I had, looking at the stats, Point Luna tends to be one of the a stronger corpse, so I would probably go the Point Luna line with the Soletta with the donation, and then look to play early satellites. But Bogyun here decides to go the Saturn line, and yeah, pretty much just like I said, takes those cards up against an Eco line. So going up against Saturn would have been, sorry, going up against a Soletta in the Eco line would be really bad. So let's see. Get a whole food factory, so that's what we would have drawn from Point Luna. Perfect. Yeah, Noctis farming, Tundra farming, and flooding. Not exactly inspiring confidence. Flooding's not bad. You can use that to get 2 more cards, maybe. Okay, so our Ecoline opponent finds Giant Ice Asteroid and Probe, which is kind of irrelevant. Looks like Adaptation Tech is the only card out of the deck, so pretty good hits. So yeah, that's very strong for Ecoline. GIA for a conversion, blowing up our plants. It's pretty rough. Early Settlement. Okay, sure. That's fine. There's also the argument to go over next to Noctis, but with early Oceans and the GIA, I think it does make sense to go over here where the rebates will be a little more plentiful. And yeah, flooding, it's interesting if you want to hit his cash or take the cards. Personally, I would take the cards in this situation. Okay. So, NRA, pretty good. Those Noctis farming that we drew, looking better. Advanced Ecosystems might be played for the plant tag, honestly. AAA, kind of garbage, but, I mean, what you gonna do? And yeah, Hired Raiders, hits his cash a bit. Yeah, he just rips the Giant Ice Asteroid. Makes enough sense to me. Gets a conversion. Pretty good. Selling a card. Oh my goodness, he's SP Greenery to block the walking along the oceans and just say, no, that's my spot. I would not have thought to do that. I will be completely honest. But with imported hydrogen, he's getting 5 plants from that. So all it takes is Noctis farming coming online, and suddenly, he's got a conversion here. Okay. That's a tough draft. So Noctis City, one of the best cities. Fish, it's nice for a 1-point animal, but since we have predators, I don't really care so much about getting a food source, and neither of us seem to have heat production, so I think fish seems a little on the weaker side. Energy tapping is really annoying, but neither of us have energy, and good players try to play around that as much as possible. So Electrocat seems to be the answer to me. I think Electrocat is what I would take here. I would probably expect Noctis City to get taken, and then it's an interesting decision on, do you take Fish because he's not going to let energy float, or do you say, I imagine you'll eventually have energy float, and I'll take the energy tapping, especially since it can help turn on the Electrocat, but, I mean, probably not. Or do you take the Fish and say, yeah, I mean, you might have protected Habs at some point, I'd just rather you not have long-term scoring. Anyway, I think I do Electrocat. Noctis City. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to say right or wrong, just not what I'd do. Open City versus Livestock. Again, I don't really care so much about Livestock turning on for Ecoline when we have Predators. I think I would go Open City, though Extreme Cold Fungus could be dangerous if he has GHG bacteria. So you could argue this is more dangerous if he happens to have that specific card and cut this, but I think I would do Open City. Okay. He does argue, I think Extreme Cold Fungus is more dangerous, so it makes enough sense. Alright, let's see if I get every prediction wrong this draft. I would do energy tapping, I think with no heat in the game, Electrocat online, his efficient power cards to get Electrocat online, easily start diminishing a bit. And he's got power plant. and fuel generators. So energy tapping becomes a lot more irritating, I think. And so him having fish, not the biggest deal. Nope, I got everyone wrong. uh, you can tell I've not watched this one before. I wonder, this is me speculating, I wonder if what he's thinking is extreme cold fungus lets me play advanced ecosystems earlier so that I could play NRA earlier, which is quite an interesting thought. I think you always take Noctis City. Open City's good, but it's so far away. Fish, same deal, but I feel a little more comfortable taking Fish just for a long-term point scoring thing. I mean, 16 for one plant prod for the chance to then play Advanced Ecosystems to then play NRA. There's no way, right? It does get us a conversion with imported hydrogen, but still feels like no way. I think I would just do Noctis, Fish, and I would take Open City with no heat in the game, and both of us looking like we're going to go plant prod. Okay, just Noctis City. Alright, fair enough. I think Noctis City is always the keep, but I feel like I would probably take a little bit more, but to be fair, our hand is kind of clunky right now. Okay, design microorganisms, ecoline is up to 5 plant prod, so it does kind of look like we're going to have to drag this one out a little bit and find some other ways of scoring, because it'll be hard to be ecoline that has this much plant prod in Gen 2. So he's selling a card for what? To try and get the imported hydrogen into like a conversion? Funding landlord, reasonable enough. That gives us a target to fight though, and with NRA that might not be as safe as he's thinking. Another card sold. Yeah, it's the stall for imported hydrogen, yeah. And then he's going to open with SP greenery convert. Okay. There's no way I'm wrong about him wanting birds here, right? Opponent has 5 plant prod. We just got to the 13%. You know, we're on track to getting to 13% quickly with plant prod. Birds is very efficient for fighting on landlord. It's got to be birds. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're back. We locked in. We're not going to get these wrong every time anymore. Regolith Eaters isn't really a card I'm very scared of. Adapted Lichen's progress towards NRA, so I would do Adapted Lichen here. Yep. Wow, Alloys came back. You took Black Polar Dust for some heat control, huh? Interesting. I would not give Alloys back to a guy with 2 Titanium Prod, but it's fine. I'd take Alloys here. I mean, I imagine Leon's not too upset getting Wave Power back if he kept the Electro Cat, which I didn't check in the log, but I imagine he kept Electro Cat. I think it'd be a little crazy to skip Electro Cat with neither of you having Heat Prod here. Dusteals is already dead at Gen 3, so that ain't a card. Adapted Lichen is a card. Birds is definitely a card. Alloys you could go either way, but I think since it's your 3rd science tag, you say, you know what, you're okay, and take it as a speculation. Yep. Alright, I'm back synced up with Bogey here. Yeah, so he's going to SP a greenery into a conversion, just working his way towards Noctis City, taking a bunch of the ocean rebates. Very good, though that SP greenery did seem, I don't know, that's more committal than I would want to be in his position. But he's got Gardener, which is a big swing here. You got to be very glad about getting Gardener here. Yeah, Black Polar Dust. Let's him get ready for a conversion. No, sorry, he does a conversion, which gets him ready for another conversion. Huh? Okay, he did claim Gardener. I missed it. I was like, wait, huh? But that was right there. Sorry. Yeah, so he claims Gardener. All makes perfect sense. Yeah, converts for 2 plants, setting himself up nicely to get 7 plants for a conversion next gen. He will probably convert and then SP a greenery to get the bonus temperature, which gets him the bonus heat prod, which gets him, up to 4 heat prod, looking pretty good from his perspective. Standard asteroid. I mean, that feels a little committal, but okay. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think you're already looking to SP a greenery. I don't think you really should be looking to uh, SP an asteroid here as well. Okay, well, there's that card we were speculating on, the GHG bacteria. Um, you know, you know, I don't want to have to be the one to say it, but that is a Moss, which immediately turns on NRA, which immediately helps us fight Gardener, and gets us a heat prod on top of that, too. Is that better than Mars University? Like, obviously Mars U's a great card. We all know it. We all said it. But is it better than a NRA in Gen 4? Like, drawing a random card? It's not like we have other card draw. It's not like he has a big hand. Uh, Honestly, it's kind of crazy, especially since we know he has Probe in hand, but I'm kind of vibing with Moss here, just to get NRA online immediately here in Gen 4. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Bogey agrees with me. I like it. Local heat trapping matters more than these two in this with the current state of the game. There's no way there's enough power to make Equatorial worthwhile unless he's got a mass converter he's about to unleash from that Mars we passed him. And Lightning Harvest for the same reason. I would just take local heat trapping, but probably not keep it. Yep. I mean, obviously it's not underground death, so GHG bacteria. We're a little sad about not having extreme cold fungus, but it'll be okay. Especially with Mars U, we gotta take the science tag. I would just keep Moss. We don't want to overkeep too much because we're playing NRA this gen. Okay. He keeps local heat trapping. He's a little more optimistic that we'll get a lot of heat than I am. But I suppose it is very likely that he's about to convert SP Greenery, and then we'll be able to NRA for the heat bonus here. And then eventually, Gen 9, that'll work its way over to 5 heat for a conversion. Yeah, the standard move. And yeah, we're doing the Moss and NRA just like we discussed. He passes, we pass, and oh, come on. Anti-grav right after we passed Mars University. Obviously trees is pretty good. Is it better than an anti-grav though when your opponent has Mars U and Probe? I think I'd probably take the anti-grav. Whoa. Whoa. I didn't even think about the biomass combustors. I mean, it makes sense. It's online for both of us. It's a 2-plant swing, which is pretty valuable. It's Gen 5, so it's probably going to kill, 5 plants, so like a 10-plant swing. Yeah, that's like plus 2 points there, so I mean, that's pretty good. But man, anti-grav is scary to give, but I guess we get trees back. I don't know. I wonder if there was ever a world where we take trees, opponent takes anti-grav, we take biomass, or the opponent prioritize biomass like Bogey did, and I did not. Yeah, I mean, the more I see it, the more I think, yeah, biomass does make sense. It's immediate contribution right now since we're already past the 6%, while the others are long in the future, or far in the future. It's probably better grammar. Lichen, I am liking it, but I think Asteroid makes a little bit more sense when you have alloys and you're fighting for Landlord. Yeah. Yeah, he does take anti-grav, so we take trees, and now we're gonna keep 3 for sure. Ice Cap is a good card, but it's pretty far away. I don't know if it's realistic that we're gonna play it anytime soon. So I could see just keeping 3 here. I'm sitting here a little perplexed why we did not keep trees. If I were to guess as to why we're not keeping trees, it's because I think Bogey wants to do SP greenery into conversion, working his way around Noctis City, and wanted to have enough money to then play biomass combustors in order to hit the plant prod. That's my guess. But trees is pretty dang good, but I guess he figures, it's like one gen of production at most, so not too relevant. I think I'd still take trees here. But that's why I'm not the arena champion. Yeah, so I'm expecting the next move from Bogey to be SP greenery into conversion. Yeah, wrapping around Noctis City, 4 cash for the biomass combustors. Pretty good. And livestock's online? Well, well, well. Sorry, cows, I'm about to unleash some bears onto Mars. Which, it works well enough in this game, but I like when the expansions are added and you got the Venusian animals just flying in the atmosphere and suddenly a bear from Mars jumps a couple million miles to chomp on the birds from there. Or you got your Martian zoo and all the people there looking at the nice animals, and suddenly a bear walks through the gate and eats it once every generation. Every 30 years he comes back to eat another animal from the zoo. Sorry, I find those thoughts funny, so now you have to hear them as well. So yeah, I hope Leon Star better hope he finds some protected habs, because otherwise these bears are about to start feasting. And for that matter, these birds too. We are already basically at 13%, which is crazy. I mean, we're Saturn with AMC, tempting. But Quantum probably the more dangerous card, since we know he's got Probe and Mars U and Anti-Grav. So I would probably cut the Quantum here. Worms? Worms? We're caring about worms? For what? One prod? One prod for each of us? You thinking about a 2-prod swing? I'm thinking about the Anti-Grav here. Honestly, building industries is perfectly fine with advanced alloys and Noctis City here. I would probably do that. The Radchem is points. It is Gen 6, so, you are kind of wanting to start considering points, but it just pays for itself so quickly. I would do industries. Yeah, he wants the points, which is defendable as well. I think AMC is useless for our opponent. I would take insulation. Yep. I mean, we bought worms. I guess we're playing it, but eesh. And Radchem, I think, makes a lot of sense as well. Okay, so I get not buying worms, but why did we first pick worms over Quantum Extractor? That's, I don't know. I haven't worked that one out. I do agree with buying the Radchem, of course. Oh man. Deimos down, blowing up our greenery. Rude. Yeah, that's a game-winning play right there. Yeah, it sucks that we're not getting our birds online this gen either. We are gonna Preds though, and start eating the cows, and so now opponent's in a bit of a pickle, right? They could say, okay, I'm just not going to use my livestock ever again, and you're going to get 2 points in your predators, and I will have 0 on my livestock. They can also say, okay, each generation I will continue to add to my livestock, and you will add to your predators, and so you'll get like 4 points over the next 4 gens, and I will keep my 1 point. Obviously, it seems kind of stupid, but if they have other animals, like small animals or herbivores, suddenly becomes more viable because you're like, well, I'm about to put more animals out here anyway. These predators are going to get fat. Might as well just keep getting my points. If he continues adding animals to livestock, I think it's a good indication he has other animals in hand. If he doesn't, then I think it's a pretty good indication that he does not have animals in hand. Yeah, so there's the Mars U. I guess we're going the science train here. Bogey's selling because why? Hoping to get birds online? Yeah, there's the Mars use cycle. Oh, was it for a milestone? Okay. So I think if I had to guess what Bogey was thinking is asteroid to get to 31, Radcam to get to 33, and then see about getting terraformer as a steal from Leon here with something in the next draft like big asteroid to play at and then claim terraformer, which would be an interesting play for sure. But yeah, terraformer seems locked up. No one seems to have any progress on builder, and honestly, Mayor doesn't seem too likely. Neither does Planner. Are we even going to see a milestone, this third milestone here? I assume eventually someone's going to SP enough cities to claim Mayor, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks like it'll be a while before a third milestone is claimed here. I am a little concerned that Leon has a pretty safe scientist fund. We don't have a safe thermalist fund with him having quantum. Miner could work, but not super safe. Banker, yeah, 3-0, definitely not safe. So yeah, we don't have anything we can fund. Okay, yeah, just dropping Noctis City makes enough sense since we needed a conversion anyway. We can just go ahead and get the extra cash. Power infrastructure doesn't really do much. Quantum makes it a little scarier, but not significantly. Space station is a titanium dump, so probably worthwhile. Mine is not that important. Gen 7. Land claim, honestly, could be really annoying for reserving city spots or blocking cities. So it might be that you take the land claim, saying I don't think space station's great for Leon here, and then these cards are kind of irrelevant. So I'm gonna guess he takes land claim. Yep. Earth Office, kind of irrelevant. Gen 7. Optimal arrow braking, the most relevant. We have Asteroid, so makes a little bit of sense. NRB, a little too late, so optimal, yeah. I mean, minor quantum potential problems. Mine, I guess. We don't have alloys, though. Builder? Builder lines? I guess I'd go mine, but it's hard to say. Yeah, sure. Power infrastructure, sure. I don't think we're keeping either. I think we're taking land claim and arrow braking, and that's it. We don't need the micro because of the wild tag. Not taking any? Really? I would have thought for sure we would at least take land claim and optimal, but okay. So converting around Noctis seems pretty straightforward. Do we SP another greenery? No, just dropping the asteroid. Okay, makes enough sense. Opponent pushes up the heat. So Permafrost was in the opening hand. We know he doesn't have Permafrost, so don't have to worry about that. He still has animal and livestock, so I guess we go ahead and eat it before protected habs can come down. Okay, so got to pass -10, so bushes are online. I imagine Bogey does not want to end up letting his opponent get all the O2. So I see a line. You can do Noctis farming, local heat trapping into conversion, which is fine, though a little risky if the plants get blown up. But I think it makes the most sense. Alternatively, you can just SP greenery for like 2 plants, and then local heat trapping to get another conversion to get all the O2. And then you could play birds on the opponent, and you're pretty happy about that. But you are setting up 2 3-point cities, which is a little spooky. But neither of us are particularly rich. It's just with Mayor like it is, it seems like the most likely milestone to be gotten. So SPing cities for 3 points, you SP 2 of them there. That's 3 points, 3 points plus 5 points. You know, it's 11 points. That's not too bad for 2 SP cities, so I'm a little hesitant about that line. But Well, let's see what he does. Yeah, so he decides to go the Noctis farming line. And the first SP City comes out, makes a lot of sense. Though Bogey also could SP a city and put a lot of pressure on Leonstar to put another city down for mayor. But I think birds is more important than that. Greenhouses for the last O2. Okay. And there's the birds. So 8 tiles to 9 tiles. It's all about the landlord fight right now. But even with landlord being flipped, we're still down by 6 points. So yeah, it's going to be hard still. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I clicked a little too fast there. So Joves have finally appeared. IO mining is so much more expensive than Ganymede Colony. It doesn't really do that much more for you. It's a pretty clear Ganymede Colony, and you're finally rewarded for going Joves. ICS, I don't think you want to let your opponent have, since we know they have anti-grav. They're probably pursuing it, and these cards are kind of irrelevant. Soil Factory is a little more relevant than most, but I'd still do ICS. Yeah. I mean, is Windmills doing so much for us compared to IO mining? It ain't great, but we got a very empty hand. The problem with doing so is that we're kind of ceding some ground on Landlord, right? We really want to save our money to fight Landlord, and spending 41 on IO's not great for that goal, because that's, Landlord's 10 points, right? That's massive. We're getting +1 from our animals each gen. We have more plant production. It seems to me that it is much more feasible for us to continue to just pressure Landlord and make it hard for him to end. So I'm not sure IO makes enough sense here. No? Alright, he thinks it does. Let's see. Also, I didn't say it, but Ganymede being a tile is super strong here. Alright, there's the SP City, so he gets his mayor. Makes sense. Alright, so we're playing IO and we're funding Miner. That does make some sense, making Miner safer. And yeah, he's not adding any more animals to livestock, so it is pretty safe to assume that he does not have another animal in hand. He doesn't have power. It could be power eventually. I would take Lagrange though, just because the Mars U quantum shenanigans. Yep. Imported nitrogen's kind of crazy. I would do that, and we're a little sad about no ants anymore. Artificial photo is science progress, though this could be annoying for Miner, but I guess just don't plan on getting steel, and we don't have to worry about it, so artificial. Do you ever consider a space elevator? I think probably not. I think you take imported nitrogen and you debate if you want to have Lagrange here. It doesn't really do a lot, honestly. 12 for a point in the card is a bit expensive, but our hand also doesn't do a lot. We can't SP out, so you might just take the two of them just to have something to do. Like, 12, yeah. I'd probably skip it because of Landlord. I'd just take imported nitrogen, I think. Yeah. Yeah, SP City makes a lot of sense. Interesting placement, though. I'd have thought you'd have done it more here. That way you have some defense on these minor spots down here. I don't really like the idea of opponent being able to put a city and do greeneries around the steel there. Opponent drawing with the dev center, playing the quantum. Yep. Another SP City. You'd love to see it. Yeah, it's all about the Landlord fight now. So now Bogey is in the lead by 2 points because Landlord is now flipped. So we're going to probably see a bunch of SP Cities and greeneries. And this is like the type of game where pets become so good because neither opponent is far enough ahead that they can push the heat track. So it's just going to be a bunch of fighting over Landlord here. Converting to make a 3-point city, though, is a little, I would have probably not done that. I'd have probably done the card, personally, but okay. Urbanized area yourself. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I get the appeal of it, clearly, because, you know, it is a little bit more points, but there's going to be so many SP cities with the way the game is shaping up right now. I feel like it'd be pretty trivial to put your city and then put one there and block off more of your opponent's scoring and grab more real estate than blocking off your own 2-point adjacency there. But these birds are going to keep adding 1 point each gen. That's going to be problematic for Leon, getting outscored slowly but steadily like that. Building industries to fight miner. So, I mean, I did say I would have taken building industries. So, you know, maybe that was a good play to keep it safer. But I think Bogey's probably still got miner, and Radkim is still 2 points. Pass, on to the next. Miner and landlord are both things, so I think it has to be mining area. Mineral deposit's pretty annoying, though, because you have to remember that this card exists for the purposes of miner. Comet's kind of cracked as well, because, you know, both oceans and heat and plant destruction. But I think with miner funded and landlord funded, it has to be mining area here for me. No. He does take Comet, which makes sense, but yeah, I told you the reasons why I'd have gone otherwise. I mean, Lake Marineris, I don't know what he took over that, but that seems pretty dang good here. Now you take the mining area. Yeah, mineral deposit's annoying, but mining area is, you know, quite a lot itself. Yeah, I don't understand fully mineral deposit over mining area when mining area is, you know, 1 cheaper. It gets some 2 steel versus the 5, so, you know, basically 5 less cash, but then you get a production. So, you know, it's, to me, it's roughly the same amount of, I guess if you're going Gen 12, it's the same amount of steel. If you're doing it purely for miner purposes, then yeah, mineral deposit makes more sense. But I think the landlord purposes makes the mining area have a lot more value to it, because it's 4 for a tile. That's so cheap compared to what you would normally have to spend for a tile. Anyway, you definitely take 3. There's an argument for fuel, but I think fuel is not good enough. That 1 power should go for Radkim instead. Okay, Ecozone is a tile blocking us off, which is pretty good. Yeah, Comet to blow up plants, take some titanium, makes a lot of sense. And he skips the second action. He's probably debating about double SP asteroid to get the bonus ocean and go for Lake Marineris, or maybe thinking about some SP city stuff here. Yeah, algae's okay, nothing too crazy. Mining area, yep. It seemed like a good card to me. I do wonder why the Ecozone, though, because now Predators just has something to continue eating. Is Ecozone going to score you that many points that it's worthwhile when you have, you know, 6 cards in hand? Not sure on that one. Livestock at least can be used now, because, you know, why not? So we can't end. We can SP2 asteroids to get Lake Marineris online, which is great points, but we're still wanting to win Landlord, and currently we're down by 1. Heather adding more resources, and then Radkim for just the production. Insects for 6 production. Okay. Now the Ecozone makes a little bit more sense. Alright, yeah, that's a lot of plants. Suddenly Landlord is looking harder to defend, but I think with 6 versus 12, you still have enough ground to defend it. Enemy Colony is a tile, as we talked about previously. Yeah, going for the bonus ocean, and then we can do Lake Marineris. Figures Ice Asteroid shows up. But, I mean, just give him Lake. We can take Industrial Center, really cheap tile to block off his 2 points from city adjacency right there. I use Lake Marineris to grab, like plants and 2 steel or something like that. Seems pretty good. Yeah, Mining Expedition makes the most sense here. He doesn't have a microbe tag that can add to his Symbi Fungus. We don't want to risk our plants getting blown up, and Miner as well from the Mining Expedition. Yeah, Ice Asteroid, I guess. I guess he really wants him to buy the Ice Asteroid to make him waste some money. But I feel like when your opponent just gives you like that, you're going, yeah, I mean, it's not worth buying. But that is an interesting tactic. Take the card that is actually useless in hopes of making him waste 2 cash on the Ice Asteroid. Funny play. I think you take Industrial Center for sure for the reasons I mentioned. Miner's kind of tight. So you might even need to take Mining Expedition for the purposes of both Miner and Landlord fight. But yeah, it's kind of expensive at 15. Lake comes down. Yeah, he takes the steel. Makes a lot of sense. You could convert, but I think you would just Industrial Center to block that. Yep. And Scientist funded. Okay. Scientist makes enough sense, but 15 to 14, it is definitely a fight still on the Landlord. So yeah, SP City. So now we're going to just convert between them, and we're just going to continue just trying to pressure Landlord because we don't have enough money to SP out and end. Predators, greenery, birds, drawing. I mean, they're just doing all their actions. Playing points where you can. There's no point in waiting. It's Gen 11. If opponent can surprise end, you'd feel dumb if you had points left in hand. So let's just go ahead and play them. Makes sense to me. Research. Okay, so he's got Antigrav online now. He is still down 1 tile. Okay. Jove Molt is huge. Let's go. Yeah, you're loving that. CEOs is a point for 4. SF Memorial, kind of expensive. Miner is a fight we want to make sure we win, so I wouldn't want to use my steel on it. So I do CEOs. Yep. Yeah, Micro Mills, sure. Just take 2. Yep. Okay, opponent research outpost on the steel. That's pretty good. But see, that's where I'd say the urbanized area was too, eager, right? It got blocked off by the industrial center. Here we have a great spot where we could just slap down the urbanized area and then get our conversions around it. Like, that feels better to me. Why are we converting and giving him a point? I guess just get the swing on the minerals? Sure. Okay. Another SP City on the card. And Eos is a great card too, so that's really good. Yeah, the problem with the miner fight is now we're kind of having to... We're going long here, so we can't use our titanium on something like imported nitrogen, and instead we have to save it to try and win miner. Right now, miner is flipped. It's 12 to 11. It'll be tied at 15 next turn. So I imagine Bogey wants to convert on the 2 steel to get that miner swing, which is pretty important here. Yeah. Okay, using animals, all that stuff. Another SP City. See, this is where pets would go crazy. And that greenhouses would also go kind of crazy, but he did get the last O2 with it, so maybe greenhouses early was still worth it. Okay, AI Central's in the house. He only spent a little steel. That's a little weird. trying to still pressure the miner, but then why spend any steel on it? I guess he had to in order to afford it, so he's just spending the minimum he can. Sure. So, where's the anti-grav? Did he not buy it and then work towards getting all the science stuff online? That's kind of funny. But yeah, I don't see an anti-grav. That's a little weird. Yeah, I guess he's regretting not keeping anti-grav. Restricted area is a tile. Fight scientists, but let's be honest, we're not winning scientists. But yeah, any tile is vital right now. An ability to take a point as well, just massive. Olympus Conference, point. Don't want to give it to the guy with Mars U. Capital isn't really good for either of us, but it could be more good than indentured workers is, I think. So I would take capital still. Okay. Takes indentured, that's fine. You always take restricted, I think, because landlord is that important. I don't think Olympus is quite good enough compared to Eos and wife sitting in hand here. Indentured is worth it if you need the money, but I'm not sure we do. Yeah. Another SP City. Oh gosh. Yeah, restricted area for cash and blocking Alpha Point. Yep. So now we're playing our card draw in Gen 13. Just using all of our actions. GHE, yeah, that doesn't seem too good. Another SP City. It's all about the landlord. Invention contest. Mars U's pretty good. Okay, so it's 23 to 21. We're selling that to decide if we need to use titanium to play wife to win, to get more Jove points. Currently, it looks like Leon's gonna be up by 1 tile. If he finds one more plant, there's a lack of plants on the board here. But then if he were to end, it would take all his money, unless he's got like deep well or something. So it seems harder for him to be able to actually end here. Okay, so wife is played. That means minerals are now tied up. Immigration shuttles, holy cow! That's there's 14 cities. So that means that we are 1 city away from a 5-point immigration shuttles. That's kind of nutty. Tropical resort, sure. Okay. As much as security fleet would be nice for scoring, I think strip mine is slightly problematic for minor purposes since it's 16 to 15. I would not want to have a 10-point swing. So even though inert is a nice 2 points, I think strip mine is kind of dangerous here. Okay, he doesn't see the danger, or he doesn't think it's real. I think he thinks, all right, SP that power and then play 25, and I don't think you're making up the 24-point difference between us here, which fair. Nitro Moss versus Magfield, I guess. Depends on Ecozone. I guess Moss is a point. Magfields doesn't seem too likely to be played, so I guess Moss. Sure. Yeah, Leon agrees. I don't have cheap enough power, so strip mine is not really a thing, so I'm sure strip mine gets cut here for minor. Is release good enough? There's no more SP cities that we can really... Well, I mean, there's one up here for 2 points. But it's really more, I guess, SP greeneries at this point, just trying to take as much as you can on the tiles. So if you can afford release of inert gases with that, it's okay. But otherwise, you skip. Yeah, he figures he can't, so he skips. The protected halves finally come down, finally safe from the terror of the predators, which have, like, how many points is that, man? That's so many points from these predators that have just been killing Leon's score here. He puts a greenery there, blocking off the city spot. Interesting. Proof they might want to end soon. Bogey's just converting an SP greenery. He, again, is all focused on winning landlord here. That is the key for him. SP greenery, he's not stopping. Cards are drawn. Hackers. No banker. Fun to fight over with the hackers. Alright, well, I mean, Leon's drawing cards. Bogey does not have any way of ending it. We have to go to Gen 15. I guess you play Aos. Like, what else you doing? Wouldn't bother spending steel. SP Asteroid. Bogey just trying to take points where he can. Get rid of, make his, some of the heat lose value. I don't think that's really... Yeah, maybe. Basically saying, hey, you can't get 2 heat raises, because if you do, the game ends, so you only get 1. The next gen I'll SP the asteroid and take those points. Sure. Large Convoy is nice. That's a 6-point card for him. Yeah, just stalling out actions. Plantation for the last tile, 24 to 26. So there's Mangrove, there's Protected Valley, and there's Mohole. So Phobos Space Haven is the last one. There's 4 tiles left. That means if somehow Leon finds 3 of them, he can get Landlord back flipped. But Bogey's SP City and Greenery spam, which is a pretty nice lattice he's created here, seems like he has managed to win Landlord, which is, careful about that Landlord at 8 fund against good players. Bogey is definitely one of those that knows how to punish it. Okay, well, that's a Jove, so I think that seems pretty good. Why are we doing that? Oh, okay. Because it's +4 titanium. Yeah, I was too focused on the 3 points here from Wife, GC, and IO. So this is a 4-point card, but this is a 10-point card right here, because 20 versus 18, but then +4, 22. You end up with 24 to 25. So yeah, that's a 10-point card. Sneaky. I would probably not have thought about that, but again, I don't have my games go to Gen 15, so a little bit of a difference there between us. Yeah, so I guess letting him have beam, and we're just sad kind of about the whole miner situation. These are all useless. Power Supply Consortium is the least useless. Yeah, and that's predicted he takes the Jove, so yeah, you could take big asteroid to help defend. The most he could do is he could hit our steel with sabotage. I don't think we've seen sabotage yet. So we could be to 20 and he'd be at 21. So to hedge our bets, you probably do take big asteroid, because what else are you doing your money with? The whole board is filled. There's nothing more to do. So take big asteroid and play it to make sure you win it. Deep Well's funny with the draw. I assume he just plays big asteroid and blows up the plants, though it is interesting. Power Supply Consortium to take his power. Yep. More cards drawn. All the standard action stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Plays Power Supply because could be annoying, maybe. It does mean you give up a little bit on Banker, but I doubt... No, not Banker. On Tiebreaker. But I doubt that Tiebreaker is really going to be a thing for us this game. Aos for all cash. Don't want to spend our steel for miner. Use our stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Plays Inventors Guild in Gen 15 to try and find more cards. Let's go. Alright, Leon. Did you find 3 cards here? Protected Valley, that's one of them. Sabotage, okay, so well done from Bogey. If it, that could have been disastrous with the sabotage there. I wonder if we should have used the industrial center to raise our steel to help defend on miner. A power plant for the robo workforce on building industries. Uh-oh. 23 to 24? Virus removes 2 points from birds. Media Archives gets us more cash. Molehole area. Okay, we're spending steel, so we realize that we're not going to be able to flip miner, but we might be able to flip landlord. Rover construction, boy, where was that like 8 gens ago? Farming. Okay, does that mean that there's a mangrove? Or there's not enough money now for Phobos to happen? Again, where were you? Like 8 gens ago. Pets and Rover would be like game winning against all these cities. That's it. That's all he's got. It was enough to tie up on Landlord. So he didn't lose the Landlord that he funded. But end of the day, wasn't able to keep Miner as well. So, yeah, real close game, 127 to 145. I think this is a excellent example of how shenanigan-y awards can be when the games start going real degen, like Gen 15 like this, where suddenly you gotta do things like take the big asteroid over the 4-point BFAT because titanium matters for a winning miner, and worrying about the special tiles here for trying to take landlord. Yeah, really crazy game. A little long here at Gen 15, but thanks for sending it in, Bogey, and thank once again for not thanks. And congrats once again on winning your arena championship. Well deserved. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.